listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, we have a full deck today. We have three guests today. We have Melissa and Brooke Mathis and Sarah Dickey from the Brewfest coming up this Saturday. And lots going on. I was talking with them before the show, and that week prior is always stressor. Melissa's wondering, which camera do I look in?
What are we doing here?
We're just talking.
We're just talking. All right.
Okay.
If we have any comments, they'll be there on the screen. See, and I get them about 10 seconds later on my feed. But there we are. See, out there. It's okay.
She wanted to watch the TV.
Yeah, it's like, where am I? Is this my good side?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Of course, we was also teasing her about her early morning workouts. What time do you get up again for that?
2:30, 1:30.
It's nuts, but that's fine. When I see you on Facebook and you're doing like your reports, whatever, it's like, this is why working out or jogging or whatever isn't appealing. It looks like they're in pain the whole time, So anyway.
That dang stair stepper.
It's not for the weak.
It's not for the weak. Okay, now I'm going to be sharing this with all the various people here that'll be watching. We have a bunch today, I'm sure. Oh, turn down the sound. I've been doing this for over 5 years, and I still forget to turn the sound down. It's I don't know. I'm not going to learn. Taylor's just shaking his head like he'll never learn. Anyway, we're going to be sharing this with several other groups here. Y'all have your own page, by the way?
We do. It's BTX Brewfest.
Okay. Taylor, do you have that kind of in the bullpen? Maybe you could show that later. We also have some stuff that y'all sent us. Yeah, BTX. That's where I bet the QR code is for tickets and whatnot, I assume. There's Otto's little group there, Burleson Taco the Town. And y'all are pretty good friends with Otto, aren't you not? Yeah,
yes.
He's one of the sponsors. And also one of the sponsors I believe your brother works for, Old Pro.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. And there's that one, and one more, bang, there we go. Now they're all shared up. But anyway, we're going to talk about what goes on, what possessed them to start this whole thing back in the day, what they can expect, who some of the sponsors are, and we got the whole 9 yards. But let's run through my sponsors since they make all this possible. Thank you to Otto over at our place. I was there just last Thursday morning. About every other Thursday morning, men in my Sunday school class and I get together and try to solve the world's problems, as we say, and don't get very far. But
How's that working out for you?
We analyze them well. We just don't have any solutions. It's funny to listen. And that's also a lot of football talk as well, and college football, Cowboys, disaster of the week, whatever, and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, it works out well. And also I'll be there tomorrow. The B&I group I'm in, that's where we do a lot of our one-to-ones, which Brooke, used to be one, right?
Yep.
I know it's a lot of commitment sometimes, but it's worked out for us.
Yeah. I told Melissa when I joined about a week into it, I said, man, they want you to be a grown-up every week.
Right. It's not a group that is coffee and donuts and show up if you feel like it, and that kind of stuff. But it's worked for me because it's helped me with sponsorships and got me involved in community. Mm-hmm. And also, we also put in a plug for Gina's because that really is a nice place. I assume y'all have been there at least once.
We actually just had it for lunch Saturday.
Good.
And we had our place for breakfast on Saturday as well.
Good.
Yep.
Well, Otto's really happy with y'all.
Yeah.
Put his grandson through college or something. Who knows? But I really do like that place because you can go get a pizza and a beer and ball games on or something on TV and it has that blues music in the background, and it's a kind of joint we've been needing.
Absolutely.
So he also is going to be putting up one about 2 miles from here. Did you know that?
We did.
Yeah.
We were talking about that as we drove through.
Yeah, he's it used to be, I think, a Chicken Express or something like that here on Main Street in Crowley now. And he was going to put some sort of hamburger joint there, but I think Fred's is opening up right across the street from us. So he said, let's just do our place again. Yeah. Which is fine.
I like it. I like the idea of it to go our place.
Yeah, it's going to be like a mini our place. Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, thank you to our friends over Wild Cigar, Chris and Nathan. They do a lot of stuff for the community. I was there last week, visiting with Nathan. I had to go at least visit the sponsors at least once a week, and they got a lot of stuff going on. They got an Oktoberfest coming up pretty soon. Honestly, Nathan, I'm sorry. I think it's on the 11th, I believe.
I think it's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And also they have something at the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month in October, they have a special unveiling of a new cigar from one of their major vendors. Comes through once a year, and they have their unveiling, so to speak, of their new brands. Y'all cigar smokers by any chance?
No, we are not cigar
I
smokers.
will try it.
Yeah.
I've tried it.
But they
and-
are one of our vendors at the festival.
Yes, they are.
That didn't surprise me at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've been with us from the beginning.
Yeah. I knew Chris back when he was a student of mine, and I've gotten to know Nathan, and they're good people. And it's a good place to go for a drink and a cigar. I go there, like when I was there, it was like early Thursday afternoon, and there's a handful of people there having a drink, cigar, doing their business.
I love it.
Better way. That's not a bad way to do your job.
It's a good
Yeah.
place to have an office.
Exactly.
Also, this is somebody that Melissa may know, Old Pro Roofing. Your brother works there, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
John Williams is who I deal with. He's our B&I guy, and he's a really good guy.
He is a great guy.
Yeah.
I know him. Corey is incredible as well. Yeah.
Yes, and he comes in every week, and he tells us a lot about the roofing business and like the way the insurance business is going. If you have a damage to your roofing, you just I'll get around to it. It's going to cost you a lot more money because they've doubled the amount for the deductibles.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got mine, and I have a good insurance company. I think Texas Farm Bureau, and I'm happy with them. But I got a letter last week or last month saying, when it's time to renew, they're going to double the deductible for roof and hail damage and stuff like that. So if you have a roofing issue, or you think you might, call John at 817-734-2756. And he'll tell you, yeah, your roof's in trouble, or no, you're fine and dandy, you're good to go. So he did mine in June. I do it every year. Also, thank you to Jeff Kelly at the Wethington Agency. He'll be on in about, I think he's on in about 3 weeks. We're going to talk about what's going on with the real estate business here in town.
He's a good guy too.
You know Jeff, do you? How do you know him? Just from all these kind of things y'all do?
Yeah.
He's one of my clients.
Is he really? Is that your picture?
That is.
So you made a headshot for him there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was on before.
Is that why he looks so good?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now,
Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, well, Jeff, I know he comes in and said, "Wait, you don't look anything like your picture." But no, he's a good guy, and he has good property to offer. I mean, I share his stuff, and he just had a piece of property come open. Plus, he has land to sell, which is harder and harder to find around here. So you want to talk to Jeff, call him at 817-781-0546 or email him at jeff@jeffkellyrealty.com. It's local here in town. Like I said, the Wethington Agency. So you're going to be able to, get a hold of somebody local and knows this area. I think that's it. We have a lot of stuff going on, though, in October. I know that at the end of the show, and I talk about a couple other things that are after your program. I know Next Step has something coming on. I know the Burleson Opportunity Fund has something going on. It's like October is a busy month, isn't it?
It is. It's very busy.
Yeah. Well, that's good, though. Let's talk about the origin of all of this. What year is this in terms of how many years you've done it?
This BTX Brewfest is, we are in year number 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so 4 years ago, y'all lost your mind and decided you want to do something like this. Because I know it isn't like, hey, we just put up a sign and sell some beer. It's a lot of 1,001 details you probably have to learn on the fly, right?
Yeah, it's back in 2000, Sarah can tell me because she was a part of it.
She's indisposed at the moment, so to speak.
she was a part of Salsa Rita, which was a festival we had in Old Town before COVID. Mm-hmm. And I helped out on the back end with computer stuff, paperwork, things like that. So I knew kind of what happened. And Melissa was in the food truck world for a while. And she was like, man, I want to have our own festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we go to all these other festivals. Why not bring one to our own community and support all of our own, And it's really neat to have all these vendors out and, hear about, we have a ton of them that sell out and, it's their most profitable day. And there's nothing better than that.
So these vendors, are they all, brewers of some sort or beer related, or are there other things as well?
And so it's other things. So we have this year, we have about 24 breweries that are coming out, I believe. So probably over 60 different types of beer that you can sample. But then the other vendors that we have are small businesses. And something that was really important to us from the beginning was to not have big corporations. We wanted them all to be small businesses.
Right.
We wanted to know that it was making an impact in their world. And so we've got just about any kind of business you can think of out there. And then last year, we incorporated art. And so each year, our goal is to grow and have artists as well as small businesses.
Taylor, do we have a photo or not photo or some sort of logo with the sponsors and whatnot?
Did you see
there's one. Yeah, she did. But,
Right there.
There we go.
there it goes. So let's see some of the people that are sponsoring some of this. Heim Barbecue. I've got to go there sometime. I've been to the one in Fort Worth on Magnolia 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
but I haven't gone to the one here for some reason.
You'll have to go to the one here. They've got, so it's 2 stories,
Yeah.
and they're doing an incredible concert series right now. Frank Kent Cadillac, Heim, and Fort Brew.
It's Frank and Cadillac over in Magnolia also has like a winery that you know, so you can, I guess, get a little bit loose and go buy yourself a Cadillac. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
a good business plan. I'm just looking at some of these others here as well. I've not seen it yet, but I bet Old Pro is on there. What do you think?
Yep, Old
Yeah.
Pro's on there.
Yeah.
Alexa Bodecker Real Estate,
Oh yeah, she's been on here too, and
Alpha and Omega.
the pesticide.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
pest control, I
Yeah.
guess.
And then we've got, City Market, First National Bank, the Garage. Have you had Danny on here yet?
No, I have not.
Oh, you got to meet Danny. She is incredible. She now has
5.
I'm going to miscount it. I think she has 6 or 7 locations now.
Am I right when I say it's a hairstyle?
It's a
barber.
barber.
Okay, barber. Right?
Yep.
That's what I thought. It's like for men, it's got, it's tailored towards that atmosphere, like the ball game is on and whatnot.
Yep.
As opposed to you go to, get your hair done over to, some like where my wife does it, and it's very feminine. And so, but anyway.
Yep, it is very tailored towards men.
Well, if she ever has time, come on, just let her know and contact me. I'd like to do a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
Because, I have Alex Phillips here all the time, and he stresses so hard, as he should. Local business is what makes this town what it is.
Absolutely.
Because, I've been here probably, I started teaching in 88. I moved here in 91. I could tell you, Burleson back then had nothing unless you enjoyed a greasy Golden Corral. I mean, it was an adventure eating over there.
One of the cool things that we also have brought in is a big cornhole tournament that they put on. This will be our 2nd year for that, and all the proceeds from that go to Center for ASD. We also have non-alcoholic beer. That's a big thing for us. We have athletic, and they have everything from IPAs, hazy, lights, seltzers, ciders, all of that. We also this year have brought in a winery, which we have not had in the past.
Which one?
Wintergrass Winery. It's out of Cleburne.
Is that the Donna and Dwayne?
No, it's
Amy.
Amy and Tyler Bauer.
Oh, okay. Because I know I forgot the name, but I have some friends that have a Pollo Rosso. That's what it's called. Okay. Pollo Rosso was on the show about 6 weeks ago, and I know the owner, Donna Hollowell. Well, that's her married name is Patrick now, but she remarried after my friend and her husband died. And they have started out about a year ago. So that maybe next year you bring them along as well, because they're just started and they're really trying to, market themselves aggressively. And they brought samples. That's always the best thing about those shows. They brought samples.
those are always good.
Absolutely. And that's kind of one of the things that when we started Brewfest was we really wanted to, craft beer wasn't as popular as it is today. And it was like, if people could just sample it before they had to get a full one, right? They can go through and sample all kinds of stuff. And so some of the tickets include sampling tickets, or you can just go buy them. But you can go through and sample as many as you want. And when you find one you love, you can go buy a full one.
That's somebody's phone.
That was me.
Okay.
I am so sorry.
No, that happens all the time. Don't worry about it.
I was trying to share.
No, it happens. But anyway, as far as so they buy a ticket to get into the area, right? And you could buy tickets also. It's kind of like going to the fair. You buy tickets and you give them tickets and they'll give you whatever.
Yeah.
But they also, could do it on an individual basis, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So the way that it works is you can buy general admission and just come in and enjoy a day full of music and the environment. You can buy general admission plus tasting tickets. And so if you know up front, you're going to want to do that. And then you can do VIP tickets, which includes getting in an hour early, a swag bag that's full of all kinds of fun stuff from our sponsors.
There are some really great stuff in there this year.
A T-shirt and a glass. So, yeah.
Well, you know, I was just thinking though. First of all, how big are the samples? I doubt they're mug size, but they're probably about like 2 ounces, something like that.
Yeah. So we chose to do, and that's a great question because a lot of people ask this, and some people get kind of aggravated. The samples are they're 2 ounces, which is actually either one really good swallow or two. But TABC regulates how much we can give away, and so the way that it works is we could have given a 12-ounce sample, but you only would have got one. So we chose to go with 2 so that you could try 12 different beers.
That's what I don't understand why people would be upset by that, because if I went to something like this, I would want to sample as many beers as I could, and I'm not expecting a full serving.
Sure.
Because if I had 12 full servings, it'd be carrying me out and take me to the ER. And
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know about you, but I can take one drink of something and I can tell you if I like it or I don't. Like, I don't need anything more than that.
No, a good shot worth, so to speak, will tell you what you want to know.
Yep.
And what I've noticed about this whole industry, I have a couple of relatives that really like craft beer, and they think they know what they're talking about, and they've taken me to a couple other places where they get all these craft beers. It's almost become like wine, or Chris will tell you about like cigars. You know, it's a very, they have very sophisticated tastes, and they have very, specific clientele that, want certain things. And it's not like just going slugging beer down. It ain't like, go out there and get a Miller Lite, or something like that. You're going to get some highly crafted beer, and they will sample it and sip it and, swoosh it around and act like they're,
Absolutely. The cool thing is, so not only do we have the craft breweries out there, but we do have domestic beers. So we have Michelob and Michelob Ultra.
And Miller Lite.
And then, of course, the non-alcoholic beer and now the wine. So there truly is something for everyone.
Well, I appreciate the Miller Lite because that's something I've had before, but wouldn't most people coming out there to find something that they haven't had before?
Most people, yes. Some people are coming out just because it's an incredible day. It's so fun. And the weather this year is going to be incredible again. A lot of people are coming just because it's a fun event.
Yes, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I remember after
They're
last year.
because I'm there. Let's get it right.
Well, that's what I've heard.
You are correct.
You're right. Yeah. So, but Sarah, here you got to hardly get a word in around you. Just
it's good.
How you've been part of this since the beginning, right?
I have.
And what possessed you to do this? Well, I know it's a lot of work. I mean, I'm sure the night before.
It is a lot of work, but previously, before Brewfest was born, I was a part of another festival. I did Salsa Festival in Burleson with some other hairdressers, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, but what's better than working with two of your best friends and getting to see the benefits and the things that we do for our community and see how we can reach more people and befriend more people and have a great day. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but sure it's at the end of the day, it's a great day.
Is this going to be the same time the farmers market is going on?
No. So actually, every year, Chaz stops farmers market by the beginning of October.
Right.
So last weekend was the last weekend for the farmers market. And it stops until he starts the season back up. And
that's too bad. I missed out on the tamales.
You did miss out on the tamales.
I did get some earlier this season, but I thought I had more time.
No. He's done. He always finishes up the market season the weekend before we have the festival.
I believe he has like a date night coming up.
Yes.
So that was 2 weeks ago.
But they do them. I want to say it closer to Christmas. They'll have a couple of little.
I hope
nights
so.
like that.
I hope so.
Those tamales are amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know that he now has Burleson Farmers Market and Crowley Farmers Market.
Well, I did not know that he had it, but I knew that Crowley started one.
Yep.
And I thought, when I drove by and saw the signs for it, I thought, you poor guys, you're not going to be able to compete. But I guess, if Chaz is putting it on, then
Chaz and his wife have that one.
Well, good for him, because he does such a good job.
He does.
And, that's what I like about Burleson now. I mean, back in the 90s, they had like the homecoming parade or had the 4th of July parade or stuff like that. But they didn't really have a place to have these kind of events unless they put it on the old baseball fields where the brick is now.
Yep.
And, it is what it is. It's fine, but nothing like we have now. That plaza, I think, has transformed this community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then all the businesses have gone around it, and they want to expand it even further. They've torn up the streets near my church, and they're going to put all this parking in there, so it won't be quite such a hassle to find parking anymore. It's a community you might want to live in, right?
Absolutely.
As opposed to, I work here or live here, but everything I do is in Fort Worth. But, anyway, back to the Brewfest itself. So you wanted to do this for the community's sake, but you also have a nonprofit connection, do we not?
We do.
All right.
We do. So we support Center for ASD. Lisa and her staff are doing incredible things for the autistic community, and so they come out and help us. So she gets some of her staff and some of her families to come out and help volunteer for the festival, and so we get to help support them in many different ways.
Well, they do such good work, and Lisa's been on here several times, and it was actually, I was talking to you before the show about that group nonprofit show I had about 10 days ago. It was her idea back 3 years ago. She was sitting in that very seat and was like, North Texas due date's coming up in about 3 weeks. And she says right on the air, so I had no other option, but she says, hey, you ought to have us all together one time and blah, blah, blah. Well, I guess I will now. Lisa had that look like, this is a good idea, and I'm glad I thought of it. Anyway, but it was just funny, but it really do good work. And, I have a friend who has a son there. He's about 32, 33, I believe. So it's not just for children. A lot of people think that this is for young people, and it is. But I know they do great work, but we have a lot of groups that do great work. But there had to be a certain particular reason why you chose ASD. You were telling about that before the show. So tell us again.
Yes. Brooke and I, when we were interviewing charities to choose a charity to support, we just had an amazing experience when we went into the Center of ASD. We loved being greeted by people with special needs, and we loved watching them learn how to cook. They were baking cookies, and they were making jewelry, and they were just learning life skills. And I think that that's amazing. And I think where, like back in school, we had home ec, and you had life skills that you learn. Right. And nowadays it seems like that doesn't happen anymore. So I think it was a beautiful thing. They won me over as soon as they answered the door, and I was hooked.
Well, you talk about life skills and all. Where I used to teach at the old high school, BTX, the life skills group was down the wing from me. And it's all-consuming job. It really was. And I don't know how they did it, frankly. I didn't have the skills for that. I wouldn't have the patience for that. I've had parents of autistic children here with Lisa, and they talk about the emotional difficulties it is because, they measure victories in very small increments, little small things, and they understand that what they had hoped for their child when they were born probably is not going to come to pass. But I'm glad we have an outlet for them, and also a place for these people to learn certain things. I
think they also have like nights where they have game night or a movie night, and it's open to different age ranges. And I think whenever we went and interviewed with Lisa, they were about to have one, and it was BYOC, and it was like bring your own Coke. So they had to bring their own 2-liter of soda, or and so just to see them, give them a place, a safe environment, and a place where they can keep learning and have fun and build relationships. I think that's an amazing thing.
Well, and one thing also is that they never get the parents never get time off.
Yeah, they don't get breaks.
And so these kind of nights give them maybe a couple hours for them to go to dinner or something by themselves.
Yes.
And I think, we don't think about that. But it's all consumed. So I'm glad y'all picked it. Of course, you could have picked any number of groups, and they've been
We
worthy
have some
causes.
amazing charities in Burleson.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I don't think people realize until, they stop and think about it is not every community has this kind of support system. And not every community has this kind of, back to the Brewfest, they don't have these kind of events to get together. And, I think Crowley's trying to do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe you ought to do a Brewfest for them.
Well,
it's
it is not out of the question, but it's going to take a lot of persuading for me to take on another event.
Right. Well, speaking of the details, I mean, how helpful is the city with this? I know you have to do this coordinated with the Parks and Rec?
So we we coordinate primarily with Joni, but we do work with Parks and Rec. We work with Burleson PD, EMS. There's a huge group of city that we meet with every year. This is okay. Here's where the event is. We make sure that everything is in order and that they have the information they need to make sure that it's successful. It's always very smooth sailing. We're very fortunate that because it is year 4, things are pretty self-sustaining now. And so when we get together with them, they're like, okay, we know you know what you're doing. Yeah. Here's our questions, and we'll start planning.
Yeah, I think this current iteration of the city council is much more cooperative with these kind of things than sometimes could happen in the past, because I've talked to other people who put these events on, and then they say it's pretty easy sailing now. Yep. In fact, next Tuesday, I have Tiffany Griffin with her. She has a Halloween pub crawl.
She does.
And she's going to be on the show a week from tomorrow, and we'll talk about that. And she also does this 4th of July event and whatnot, and they're a lot more cooperative, I guess, and because they know that, okay, this is going to turn out, and it's not going to be some, drunkathon or whatever else. I mean, I would imagine, nobody goes to these events to get hammered. I mean, because they could do that at home.
Yeah,
they come here to sample the craft beers and be with people and check. When you say other vendors, what are
shopping?
What kind of vendors are we talking about here?
Boutiques. What else is there? There's boutiques. There is jewelry. There is all natural soaps, lotions, candles, kettle corn, food trucks.
We have a really cool one this year, and he's a sponsor as well. It's called Ducky's Revenge.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And he is he has a pinball business. And so he actually is looking to open up a location in Burleson, and which is part of why he became a sponsor. But yeah, so he's setting up his pinball machines. And
you talk about like an arcade, like when I was in high school back in the day.
Absolutely.
Pinball became a big thing in the 70s, and my buddies and I would go to the bowling alley and play pinball.
Yep. Yeah.
And
so
arcades.
he does pinball tournaments. I mean, all kinds of things. So that's Ducky's Revenge, and there's 3 guys that have put that together. So they'll be there. But pretty much honestly, and the artists that we have out this year are incredible. We've got one gentleman that I'm really excited to see his stuff. His company is called Good Bones, and his art is with longhorns.
Right.
So he's bringing these out, these giant longhorns. And then, I mean, we've got a pottery company. We've got...
What's a little girl that does crochet? How old is she?
Oh, gosh. She's under 21. I know that.
She just graduated, I think.
So that's Monkey Rose Crochet. And so really our goal on the artist side, I really, really want it to grow for the youth. I really want to have a big presence of youth artists. I want to give them a space to show their work and be proud of themselves.
And sell.
And so...
Like encourage...
Yeah. Entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
absolutely. But
so
we all started off small.
Yeah.
I mean, we all started off here. We have to start somewhere. And so we'd love to see the youth grow.
Well, all 3 of y'all have your own businesses, right?
Yes.
I mean, I know that you have the photography, Brooke, and you told me about the bistro you have. Yeah. Melissa over at the North Richland Hills Honda dealership, and you have a hair salon.
I do.
Which one is it again?
I own Serendipity.
That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't going to throw it out there.
That's me.
That's right. I thought it was Serendipity.
I'm right there in the heart of Old Town.
Yeah.
I was there when it was cool, when it wasn't cool to be there, and now it's really cool to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is coming up in April. It'll be 15 years for me to be down there.
Well, I just remember when they had the Odom's Barbecue.
Oh yeah.
And the Big Four appliance store.
Yeah.
And the malt shop, and
Bailey's one place.
Bailey's one place, and that's about it. Now they got all this stuff going on. It's just
It has definitely grown in the last 15 years. I have seen businesses come and go, but that happens.
Yeah.
And just the community and the way that Old Town is growing and the way that we are able to have festivals down there and do all that is just amazing.
And I remember when they were first talking about putting in that plaza, and I'm right outside the city limits, so I had to have a vote in that. And there were people that were concerned about the expense and all this other stuff. I think it's paid for itself over and over again because you go out to these events, and it's not just Burleson people; they're coming from all over the county.
Yep.
They are.
And we're perfectly positioned here where we are geographically to become, a center for this for the entire region. I've talked to the city council guests I've had on, particularly Victoria. I talked to her. She's on next Monday, in fact. They've been talking for a long time about having some sort of event center. But, other budgetary priorities get in the way, I suppose. Doggone it. But there you are. As far as the sampling, do y'all like beer yourself? I mean, is that why you talked about beer in the first place?
It's funny is we do like beer. We are some cold beer drinkers.
Yeah.
Craft beer has definitely something that we are learning to love. So we always kind of joke around, whoever would have thought that we have a craft beer festival and we don't even really love craft beer, but we are definitely learning to love it. And craft beer and that community has evolved so much.
Right.
And I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of beer drinker you are. You can almost always find one that you will fall in love with.
I'm definitely a sour girl. I love the new sours that Martin House has put out. I mean, just absolutely incredible.
Martin House, it's interesting because one of my other non-sponsor groups had an event there, the Amanda Mann Clark Project, talking about colonoscopies and colorectal cancer. And so they that was a great place. Have y'all been there yourselves?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they said it was a great place to go and have an event.
Yeah,
It is.
So a lot of these companies they're probably from Fort Worth, I'd imagine, but they come further than that.
Yeah, so we pull. This year has been interesting with the economy.
You're right.
So breweries have really struggled. So where we originally, when we set out, we were like, we really just want Fort Worth, Arlington, Johnson County breweries. We've really reached out beyond that scope and have gone all over North Texas and sometimes down into Austin and Houston for some breweries.
We actually have one it's called Sierra Nevada this year, and it's from California. Taylor, can you pull up the list of breweries we have, if you don't mind? Sorry, I don't mean to tell him what to do.
No, you asked. Some say do it. No.
She is bossy.
All of a sudden, Taylor has a new boss.
Well, I was going to pull up mine. I was scared the sound was going to come back on.
Okay.
Yep. So if you look at the list that's up, Athletic Brewing, which is the first one in the top corner, that is our non-alcoholic.
They're out of California.
Yep. Fort Brewery, of course, is one of our main sponsors. They're in Fort Worth. Funny Water is brand new to us this year. I'm super excited for that. They are seltzers, correct?
Correct.
Yep. Heineken Zero, of course, is another non-alcoholic. That was important to us that we can serve another community of people that they want to come out, but they're like, but we don't drink. Oh, cool. Now we can serve you too. Locust Cider is fantastic.
I am a moderate beer drinker at best. I usually, a six-pack will last me quite some time. I like to have a Dos Equis after I mow the yard.
Yep.
But when I'm watching a ball game, I'm not pounding it. But I've tried several of these craft beers, and some of them I think are a little too dark for me, or a little
Stout,
stuff like that. But some of them are really, really good. Yeah. And one of my cousin's sons, who's really into this, local brewery business, he lives in Oklahoma too, up in Weatherford. And every time I go up there, he says, "Okay, I want you to go buy this, and this. These are all local Texas breweries that they can't get in Oklahoma." So I'm bootlegging up there now.
So we've done that many times.
So
the funny thing is, you were asking about if we love beer. I am a wino. Like I love wine.
So do I.
I'll take a glass of wine over a beer almost any day. If I'm in my pool, it's going to be beer. So we were super excited to make the decision together that we wanted to bring in wine this year.
Well, good.
So we'll start off with Wintergrass, and we'll see how it goes over.
Well, I mentioned my friends in Cleveland, Pollo Rosso, but also I'm sure Lost Oak. And that's another thing as well. My cousin the father of these sons that are craft beer experts used to have a winery in Oklahoma, but it was so difficult to do business there because of the state's laws. And also he was a winery in the middle of cotton country. And so every time they sprayed, it killed the grapes. So it got to be too much of a hassle. But you don't have that problem down here, you know, and so that's a good thing. And we have a lot of these local wineries and Texas wines, and it really is interesting to me to see just how much this whole industry is developed.
Absolutely.
And I prefer wine too, actually. Yeah. But I'm not an expensive connoisseur. I mean, I'm like, I go to Costco or Sam's. I'm good. You know, that kind of stuff.
I tell Melissa when she goes to the store to buy me a bottle of wine from the grocery store, I'm like, do not get it off that bottom shelf, girl. Mm-hmm. You don't have to shop on the top shelf. Stay somewhere in the middle, but don't you get it off that bottom shelf.
Yeah, or go to Trader Joe's and get the $4 stuff or whatever.
Yeah. So I think y'all tried that one time, didn't you?
Sarah and I tried that as soon as Trader Joe's opened.
We did.
I'd love to have a Trader Joe's here in town. It'd be great.
That'd be great. I love Trader Joe's.
Well, one question I always have is how do y'all get sponsors and how do you get participants? Do you call them up yourselves or they call you or both?
Sponsors is really, we hit the ground running pretty early on, contacting sponsors. And so many of our sponsors have been with us from the beginning, and we are so very thankful for them. A lot of times we reach out to businesses that we see marketing on Facebook because they're obviously trying to grow their business and grow their marketing. And this is a great way. You know, last year we had 5,000 people at the event. This is
5,000, really?
Yeah. So this is an incredible opportunity to get your business in front of, you know, possibly a totally different demographic. We do have some that will reach out to us. They've heard of the event, and so they do reach out.
And it happens every year. Like once we've printed everything and have everything, we have people jump in and they're like, hey, we would love to be a part of this, either a sponsor or a vendor. And we're like, oh, goodness.
Do you squeeze them in anyway? But they should know that they're not going to be on the banner or whatever.
So we have our entry level for sponsorship is one that we can offer all the way up until the day of.
Right.
But yes, we have to cut it off at the beginning of August. I always push it too late, so that we can get everything printed.
Right. Well, how much does it cost to be a sponsor?
So there's different levels.
Right.
They start at $350 and they go up to the title sponsor is $8,000.
Who's the title sponsor?
Frank Kent.
Okay.
Cadillac is Frank Kent, Heim, and Fort Brewery are all owned by the Kent Group, and so they are our title sponsor this year.
Well, that's really interesting because you know, a lot of these events need sponsors. You know, I'm part of one as well, the Burleson Opportunity Fund. And I just wonder, you know, how y'all got your sponsors. I know what we did is we just sent Patsy Dumas to go and tell them. And,
Sweet Patsy.
And now you send Lori sometimes.
Yeah, Lori, who could say no to them, right? You're going to say, okay, how much? And, you know, where do I send it? That kind of stuff.
I wonder if they want to be a part of our team.
Well, I don't know about, I tell you what, if they were part of your team, you probably would need a bigger space.
Yes.
Because they can get things going. But, you know, getting sponsors is hard.
It is hard.
At this economy, it is. Because I've talked to a couple about sponsoring the show, and they say, we like what you do. We occasionally drop in on it, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, because things are tight.
Yeah.
And I bet you heard that too.
Yes. Especially this year. I mean, we 100% can say that the economy has definitely affected a lot of businesses, a lot of breweries. A lot of them are feeling it this year. And so there was a point where we were super nervous. We're like, man, because what people don't understand is it costs a lot of money to put this event on.
Right.
And so we do rely very heavily on sponsors and on volunteers. And there was a point that we started getting a little nervous, but again, we have an incredible community and it all came together beautifully. Well,
I'm hearing the same story, you know, in my B&I group and in just, you know, general conversation with people I know that are running businesses, that everybody's just concerned. It isn't so much that they're going broke as such, but they're afraid that what's coming, not because of the election, but they just have this fear that the economy is not going to do well next year, regardless.
You know, we usually have a ton of people in the mortgage that are like, how much
Real
money,
estate.
estate, how much money can I give you? And that, you know, they're on the struggle bus,
Yeah,
like a lot of
absolutely.
people. And, it's unfortunate the way things are, but we completely understand, that people aren't going to be able to do it every year. And hey, buy a ticket, come out.
Well, and I've talked to a couple of people about sponsoring in the mortgage industry, and they say, I'd love to do it, but rates are too high right now, and we're not getting in the refi business very much. And same thing with insurance. I've talked to a couple of them, and they say the same thing. Said, I'd love to sponsor your show because I like what you do, yada, yada. But they don't, the way things are. Do you expect a similar sized crowd that you normally get, or are you concerned you might have a smaller one?
I think that it's so funny because there's really no way to project how many people will come out, right? In my little brain, I'm like, okay, so if we sold this many tickets online last year and we had this many people show up in person, and that still doesn't mean anything. I do expect a very similar size crowd. It may be a little smaller, but it's going to be, last year we had phenomenal weather.
Yeah.
We were a little nervous because we were competing with the Texas OU game. And it was like, man, is that going to make an impact? And it did not. So we don't have that this year. So I think it's going to be an incredible crowd.
It will be.
I think our businesses that are setting up and selling, they've done a great job pushing it out on social media. So I think it'll be a great
We
day.
have good music too.
Who's playing?
We have the Enablers
The Enablers
at
okay.
3:30.
Okay.
The Alternatives at 5:30, and King George goes on at 7:30.
King George, is that like a George Strait tribute band?
Yes. It
Okay.
is.
Well, that'd be good.
I am super excited about the Alternatives. And I know your husband is too.
No, he is, because every year he asks if we can have toadies.
Who knew?
My husband always asks every year if we can have the toadies
The
come and play.
Toadies I've heard of.
Yeah. And
they were around 30 years ago.
He's like, is this the closest I'm going to get?
Is this that type of music they're playing, that
Yes.
alternative music?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the Enablers are great too. We actually have I've seen the Enablers and I've seen King George. I haven't seen the Alternatives, but I'm really excited to have just all different genres. And
Yeah. This is an all-day thing, though, right? What time does it start for most people?
Yeah, so general admission is at 3 p.m.
All right.
And it's over at 9. However, those that have VIP tickets, they can get in at 2, which that's always my preference because they get to go sample all the beer before the line gets big. So I'm always, anytime Melissa and I go somewhere, I'm like, can we please get in early? Like, can we pay a little extra and go early?
Yeah, and you get to put your lawn chair anywhere you want.
Yeah.
you get to claim your seat.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so how does one get tickets?
So you can go online. We're all over social media. So
Right, I've seen it on Facebook plenty, but
Yep.
but you have your own website. On it.
we do. So our website is btxbrewfest.com.
Yeah, Taylor's whipping it up right now.
Yeah.
So
And there is a page for tickets, and you just click right on it. If you're on social media and you don't want to go to the website, you can just go to the BTX Brewfest
There
page
it
and get
is.
it there.
you can buy tickets there and also get other information, 3 to 9 or 2 if you. How much is a ticket for the normal event, so to speak?
So general admission is $15. General admission with tastings is $30. VIP tickets are $55.
Okay. And there's the parking, which everybody's going to be asking about.
Yeah. Yep.
It is going to be right now an issue.
I
But
just
maybe,
noticed that too.
What?
Oh, I was just like, I need to update that map at the bottom. So in the first 3 years, we had 3 entrances, and we actually went down to 2 this year. So I've got to fix that.
Is it security reasons, I guess?
No, we just found that the middle entrance, which is actually by the drive-through of the bank that's over there, that was always our middle entrance, and it just wasn't utilized. And so we opted to not have that this year and use those volunteers in other places.
Well, I'm quite sure it's going to be a big deal because it seems like, from just my observations, every year goes a little bit more and a little bit more.
Yeah.
Word of mouth has always been really strong about it. The weather's going to be good. Might be a little warm before October, but it's not going to be like it was. Hopefully not yesterday. Boy, it was hot. But I'm just saying it's going to be. The good thing about these events is that you see a lot of your same friends there.
Yeah.
It's a good way to connect with the people you don't get to see very often sometimes.
Absolutely. I think the high is 88.
But see, once the sun goes down, it'll be nice and cool.
Oh yeah, and it'll be it'll be cool earlier on in the day. So
Yeah, but,
it'll be beautiful.
Now, when they buy a tasting ticket, there are limitations how many beers you can taste, right?
So the tasting ticket is 12 samples.
That should be enough. That's 24 ounces. Yeah, that should be enough.
But they can also go buy more tasting cards.
But you don't have any problem with overindulgence, I would imagine.
Tell them what the city has told you.
So about 2 years ago, we were talking with one of the police officers, and he said, we love working your event because we never have a problem with people getting out of control. And that for us is an honor,
Right.
We're super proud of that. We have police on site. We have private security on site. We do a really good job at making certain that everything is safe. Everyone is safe.
Also, all of our breweries have a TABC volunteer in there. And, we go through this meeting. If anyone looks like or that they've had too much, we will not serve them.
How many TABC people do you have on this event?
This year, we opted to structure it a little bit differently. So we have... in all of our tents that are serving alcohol, so breweries and winery, we have at least one TABC certified person in that tent. So you're looking at, I think we have about 25 people that are TABC certified. When you say
TABC certified, are these people that work for the breweries or the people who work for the state?
Work for us.
So they're actually our volunteers or they're our staff.
Oh, so they go through some training process. Okay, so they're not state employees.
No.
Okay. That's what I was kind of imagining.
Yeah.
Wow, is the state of Texas really put,
No.
They do show up.
Yes, there is an inspector on site making sure that we have
all our
everyone
ducks in a row.
Yep, that everyone is certified and that we aren't doing anything we shouldn't. So,
how many children do you see out there? More than I'd imagine.
It's a great family friendly event.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is not something that you'd be afraid to take your small children to.
Last year was one of my favorites because last year we had a whole bunch of different games out in the grassy knoll is what I call it. And I guess one of the boys brought in a football. And so the boys were throwing footballs and then dads were getting involved. And, you just see parents being parents, but they're also having a great time. They're trying beer. They're listening to music. Well, there's all, and my favorite view is standing back, looking at the stage and seeing all the different age ranges up there in front of the stage, either dancing or playing or anything like that. I think that with King George, I love seeing the young out there, and I like seeing the older couples up dancing to King George. Like that's when I like to sit back and take a minute and be like, oh, look at them. They're all, and that's what we all want. We want everybody to come out and really enjoy their time.
Well, and that's why I brought it up, because they shouldn't get an idea that this is just for young people and whatnot. This is a family event. And it has a family environment. It has safeguards to make sure that everything is appropriate and there's no problems. And so somebody who may not be as familiar with Brewfest think, well, is it, is it like Oktoberfest where, people get a little crazy sometimes or whatnot? But this is not that at all. This is a family community event, and you should not have any concerns at all about your time there.
No, not at all.
That's good to know. I mean, but I think that's a good thing to put out there because old coots like me see Brewfest, we think of frat parties or something like that, and it's nothing like that at all.
No.
So, but anyway, we're almost done here. So why don't y'all take it away for the last few minutes? Just kind of summarize everything you would want them to know, because some people catch the show towards the end more than do the beginning, or whenever they see it, they fast forward through some stuff and get to the end. So
I think just to kind of summarize, it's October 5th. General admission is 3 to 9. You can get tickets at the gate. I will tell you some of the lines do tend to get long, so if you can buy them online, we have separate lines for those that have purchased online. It's beer, cider, seltzer, non-alcoholic beer, wine this year. Food trucks. We have great food this year.
Cash or card.
Well, bring some 1s and 5s for tips, right?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, some of these young people that are working at, I'm sure they'll have a tip jar there. So.
Yep. We make sure that we have tip jars for all of our people that are pouring. I will tell you, our volunteers are incredible every year. And so whether they're working an entry gate or they're working a ticket booth, no matter what it is. And, we even hired some younger gentlemen to do trash. And that is, you know, they're excited, right? They get to come make money for the day. They don't really have to talk to people. It's a fun day.
Yeah.
We look like we're crazy lunatics.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon to see the three of us literally running around.
Yeah.
And
We
people are like,
definitely
"Are you
wear our tennis shoes that day.
Yeah.
Well, and then I'm sure Sunday morning y'all just breathe a big sigh of relief, right?
You know, we get up and we go clean up the city.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, but this has become almost an expectation that we have this now. So now you're stuck, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I think last year alone, I walked 23 miles.
well, see, as fit as you're becoming with these midnight workouts, you know, ready to go to the next Olympics. But
I'm telling you, you're coming to meet me one day.
at 1:30 in the morning,
I will pay money to see that.
Yeah,
Do it for a fundraiser.
it would have to be
Support the local nonprofit.
Yeah, it would have to be something like that. I mean, a substantial donation to a nonprofit of choice, because 1:30 in the morning. No. All right. Anyway, I appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate what y'all do for the community. It's a lot of work, I know, because I've talked to not just y'all before, but other people who do this, and it's like a jillion details that you didn't think about come popping up out of nowhere, and it is a lot of effort, and I appreciate it. It's a great thing for the vendors and the community, and I know it'll be a success.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we'll-
you for having us on here.
Sure, no problem. We'll see y'all again next year about this time, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
One more thing before the music starts. There's a couple of things that the other nonprofits asked me about. Next Step has their giving gala over at the DoubleTree that used to be this hotel and that hotel off Alta Mesa. It's been like 19 hotels. It's on Thursday night, the 10th. So if you want to get involved with that. Also, that morning, the Burles Opportunity Fund is having its breakfast. And if you want to be involved with that, you know, there's lots going on in the community. So anyway, now you can play the music, Taylor. All right. And Thursday, I'm going to have Debbie Beeman of Promises, and we'll see y'all then.